Well, when you ask a composer who your favorite composers are, you know, it's a very difficult question. But let's just dismiss the huge names that everybody will refer to. Like, there's no point in discussing Bach unless you're talking to an audience that doesn't know anything about music, because, you know, Bach is this pervasive force in everybody's musical mentality, and so of course. But I'll throw in a composer that you might not think of right away, who I find very influential in my thinking all the time, which is Janáček. And I say that because I think Janáček, I wouldn't say he's completely alone in this, or unique, but Janáček really had this profound ability to not relate to tradition so much as to have a thought, have a feeling, and almost just cut his arm open and bleed onto the page. There was just an immediacy of idea and technique, a complete melting together, a complete fusion of a thought and a note, of a chord being an emotion rather than being part of a progression. I think in Janáček there's really never a transition, there's never filler, there's never something to take up time or to get somewhere else. It's always an immediate, in-the-moment phenomenon. And I think about him a lot when I write, because I hold that up as an ideal that cannot be taught, that is hard to analyze, and is historically almost a freak moment, even compared to Debussy or Scriabin. I mean, he really nailed something about how the brain and how the mind and the emotions can work with technique. You know, it's just absolutely direct. So I think of Janáček quite a lot. Now, I have just finished 20 years with the Chamber Music Society. The only other person I know who was involved that way that long was Charles Wadsworth, although there are many artists who have performed over 20 years. But in terms of being kind of staff, administration, whatever I am, I keep shifting around. But I've been not just performing, which means that you can come and rehearse and leave. I've been just basically here for 20 years with a number of different definitions. So my memories, I have to have more than one. That's what I was building to. I would say one of my favorite memories is being on stage in Tully with Sylvia McNair, accompanying her in a song cycle that I wrote. And it was the first time that I played the piano in public for many years. It was before the piano puzzlers and all of that. I just hadn't done it in a long time. And Sylvia insisted that I do it, and we had a great time. So that was a landmark for me. There are plenty of others. A great moment for me was the one opening night where I made a major contribution in terms of a decision, which was to do Stravinsky's Renard with choreography. And I picked the choreographer, Peter Pucci, and I convinced everybody here that we needed to have dancers and perform the music and have costumes and even some scenery, and we did this rather large production of Renard that was a knockout, and I just loved having made that happen. And I would say among the other things are many interviews with all kinds of fabulous composers over a long period of time, including people that I have interviewed over a 20-year period. Like when I just spoke with Andre Previn recently, I had spoken with him also in 1992, so it was a really interesting change and how life goes on and what happens. And also people who, great composers who are no longer with us, like Leon Kirchner and Nicholas Maw and Lucas Foss. These people that I had great conversations with, and George Rockberg, people that I kept up my relationships with. Some of them I knew very well before these interviews. But it meant a lot to sit on stage and talk not only about their music, but usually for half an hour or sometimes 45 minutes, which in real life you don't concentrate that way. And so it was great. Even Elliott Carter, who I think the last time I spoke with him on stage, he was only 90. And now he's 103, but still, it was still a great moment.